Thank you very much. Welcome, Douglas County. My name is Kelly Robinson, and I am the chair of this Transportation Committee of the Douglas County Board of Commissioners. Today is December 13th, 2022, and we've got an agenda in order of the business today. And we're going to go ahead and establish if we have a full quorum to conduct this business. We'll go around the room as we normally is our custom here on this committee. I'll start with myself, Kelly Robinson, chair of the committee, present.
Frederick Perry, Deputy County Administrator, present.
Tiffany Stewart Stanley, Assistant County Administrator, present.
Miguel Valentin, DOT Director, present.
Ron Roberts, Connect Douglas Director, present.
Is that everybody?
Heath,
You're on mute, Heath.
Try it again. Heath Calvert, Public Works Director, present.
Thank you so much. All right. We have enough for a quorum to conduct the business. To my team, let me know when Madam Chair is here, guys, so I can acknowledge her properly. All right. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and just get started, jump right into our agenda. Director Valentin, wait, we have Suleiman here.
That's right.
We haven't seated him yet as a, how are we going to do this? He's still part of the team right now. I know he's going to run this meeting, but and he's facilitating it, but we have to have an odd number of members. How many members do we have, Miguel? 7?
I'm here, Vice Chair.
Madam Chair, welcome. Madam Chair, let the record reflect. Madam Chair is here.
Yes.
We'll get to that at some point, Miguel. We got to make sure we probably at our next meeting, we have to seat him into the committee. Or we can do it now and say he'll be seated next meeting.
Right, he could be seated now, but as a non-voting member until January.
Let's do that. Madam Chair, are you okay with that? Since we've got the full team here, we're talking about Suleiman Rana, our Deputy Director. Just acknowledge him as a voting member of this committee effective January of 2023, because he's facilitating the meeting today. So, you okay with that, Madam Chair? Oh, she's on.
Yes, I'm okay with it. I hear
All right. Miguel, go ahead and put a motion in play, and we'll go ahead and effect it now.
Yes, I make a motion that we seat the new member, Suleiman Rana, Deputy Director of DOT, as a voting member effective January 2023.
All right, I've got a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
I've got a second by Ron Roberts. Any discussion? All right, we'll just go around the room again. We need verbal name for acknowledgement, just in case if you're not on the mic, and so we can get it for the official record. Kelly Robinson votes yes.
Ramona Jackson Jones votes yes. Yes.
Frederick Perry votes yes.
Tiffany Stewart Stanley, yes.
Miguel Valentin, yes.
Heath Calvert, yes.
Ron Roberts, yes.
All right, we've got a unanimous passage. Welcome, Deputy Director Ronnie. You will be a voting member effective in the beginning of the year. And so we're going to go ahead and jump into our agenda. We probably got some supporting cast members. David Good, are you out there?
Yes, Vice Chair, I'm here.
All right. Who else is here as part of?
I have Janet Willis and Sharma Davis listening in as well.
Very good. Just want to always acknowledge those people that are here. All right. That being said, Miguel or Ron, which one of y'all gonna lead this?
I will let Mr. Rana drive today.
All right, that's fine. You have the floor, Deputy Director. So the first order of business is our meeting minutes. Go ahead.
Yes. Thank you, Commissioner. Good afternoon, committee members, staff, and citizens. Thank you to the committee for voting me as a voting member starting next year. Welcome to the last Transportation Committee meeting of the year. The first item on the agenda is the approval of November 15th meeting minutes.
All right. Can I get a motion to adopt the meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
No.
None. I'm going to go ahead and call the vote just for the record, his official one, that we're going to adopt these meeting minutes. Kelly Robinson votes yes.
Ramona Jackson Jones votes yes.
Frederick Perry votes yes.
Tiffany Stewart Stanley, yes.
Miguel Valentin, yes.
Heath Calvert, yes.
Ron Roberts, yes.
All right, the meeting minutes of November 15th, 2022 has been adopted and passed by the committee. All right, back to you, Deputy.
Great. So the next item on the agenda is Connect Douglas updates. Before we get into sub bullets, I believe we have collaborative firm with us today that will be presenting.
Okay.
And I'll hand it over to Director Roberts for that.
Thank you, Solomon. Let me see if I can share my screen real quick, and I should be able to see the first item is the safety plan for Connect Douglas. This is the Public Transit Agency Safety Plan. This is a requirement of MAP 21. And when the update and the changes came out of our recent FTA triennial. So this is a document that I would like to take to the Board of Commissioners on January 4th. I'm still making some changes. We actually have a call with Jorge Publiones, he's the expert at ATL on the safety plans. The document that I have drafted is largely complete, with just the exception of I think I talked to Tiffany about making her the executive on this document, and it outlines exactly what the public transit, what our agency safety plan is. This is, as I said, a required documentation, and it just needs an update. I can send it around for review. I've shared it with ATL staff. Just got a few things I want to finish up on it, and some questions I may have from Fred and Tiffany, possibly about the direction for the chief safety officer for the county position, and what that might need to be done to change and stuff like that. But other than that, I'm available for any questions on it.
Okay. So before again, if anybody has any questions regarding this, I mean, it's a safety plan. So this came out of recommendation from our FTA review. Is this one of the areas that we need to focus on? I'm trying to get. Go ahead.
Vice Chair. It was an existing document.
Yep.
An update was required because there had been a lot of staff changes, even very recent staff changes that I needed to make to this. But other than that, I think it's a pretty good plan. I worked with RS&H as our pending vendor for our transit master plan that will be starting that full process after the holidays. And they sent me some other samples from around the country of comparable documentation from similar size agencies, and I'm still in the process. I got it yesterday, so I'm still in the process of reviewing it. But ours looks very, very good, very similar to that. It looks like it's pretty straightforward, other than a final check with ATL staff. As I said, that would be Monday, I think, scheduled Monday morning. I think I'm ready to finish up the changes and bring it before the board for approval.
I think it would be advantageous if this entire committee had a chance to take a look at this. We can't make a recommendation for something we haven't seen yet, and we don't have enough detail yet. So are you going to walk us through this for us to send it up, or you're going to just email it to us and we can look at it online?
Glad to email it to you. Before I just wanted to ask too, and make sure that everyone got a copy, Vice Chair, as I forgot to mention it, but that at the end of the last subcommittee, you asked me to forward the FTA triennial report.
Yes.
And I did that to all the committee members, and I meant to open the whole conversation up by asking if there were any questions from that triennial of the committee members today.
Yeah, and that's you got to tell us that you're looking for feedback. But to that point, let's do this from a committee perspective. That vote document, Madam Chair, and I know We have two sets of documents, this safety plan that he's referencing, as well as the document that came out of our, the FTA's review of our operation. To perhaps take time over the holiday for easy reading and be prepared to give feedback and sometime in January as you guys see fit. Is there anything that's pressing that's got to be the first meeting of the year, or I'm asking that, is there something pressing?
Yes. There's a number of things that are due. Let me jump over here real quick. Can you guys see my screen still? You see this?
We can see it, Ron.
Okay, thanks.
We can see it.
So here's the review areas that and a complete thank you to Janet for putting this together. As I said, we were just talking about this afternoon today. These are the areas that we've been focusing on, and you see the dates here. A lot of this stuff is due by the 16th of January, and so a lot of these items, including the DB that we have on the agenda today, is like 99.9% done. We're just finishing up some final touches. I don't think there's any major snags with the paratransit. The public transit agency safety plan, but I will send it out to everybody. And when I get it, I will also include it in the packet next week in Civic Clerk for all the commissioners. Right now, I've just got a placeholder document, kind of a draft document in there, but I'll replace that. I'm also going to replace to add the DBE that's on the agenda as well. So that's kind of the issue, Vice Chairman, is we've been sending the items to them since the triennial, and these are some of the last items that we need to do. We still have I still need to get with finance and procurement, and I'm in the process of trying to set some dates up for that as soon as possible. But that's where we're at with the triennial and meeting the deadlines and getting the information to everybody.
All right, so Deputy Perry, Madam ACO, Madam Chair, has any of you guys signed off on this? This I don't want to blow by this committee as if somebody has to sign off on this. This is like an audit. It has to be a final. Have y'all seen this work? Are y'all okay?
Vice Chair,
have y'all read any of this, and are y'all okay with our response? Because y'all got to own this.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all got to own the response. And again, it's a baseline. I mean, but not that.
This is really.
Let me finish. Stop. I'm cutting you off. Let me make my point. I'm talking to these guys, and I'm trying to get a feel for how do y'all feel about this.
Vice Chair, me, I have not had an opportunity to review this in detail. I guess I didn't recognize that there were deliverables that were so quick. We do have a little bit of time. So if we are given just maybe, like you said, through the holidays to review this, provide email feedback to Ron if we have questions or what have you, he can provide us answers to that. I'd be glad to review the entire document. I've started, but I have not completed the entire document.
Madam ACA?
Yeah, Vice Chair. So yes, Director Robertson and I met extensively last week, and we talked about everything and about making sure that we have everything done prior to the due date for all the deliverables that we have to get to the FTA. One of the things that I did suggest, and which I will be doing, is setting up a meeting with everyone so everybody's clear on what he needs to get to them in a timely manner. So that's something that is on my list to do for this week, to set that meeting up. But I feel like he has a good handle on everything that is needed. From, like I said, we met for about 2 hours, I believe, on Friday, Ron.
Yes, ma'am.
And so we're working, and my goal is to be able to, I'm thinking probably about to have everything to them as soon as possible. So, really the first early part of that second week of January. So we're not even close to, that date.
So, all right, I get it, and I'm going to let you So we're coming in the first of the year. Is there board action that's necessary here? So do we have to, this is what I'm going back to, who signs off on this and when you respond back to the FTA? Does the board have to adopt the safety plan, through passing a resolution to send it on, or is it more administrative? I just want to figure out what bucket. If it's administrative, keep moving. If it's legislative, that's a different answer.
It's legislative. With the board has to adopt the updated PTASP.
Madam Chair, are you okay with that first meeting? I'm not trying to set your agenda already first year, but there seems to be a matter that we do have to address. Any thoughts, Madam Chair? You lose her, guys, or she not there?
Let me see. I don't see her on here. She may have.
She might have dropped. It's okay. All right. That being said, it sounds like you guys are going to review this. Let's go ahead and assign it as administrative concurrence. I haven't read it, so I can't make a recommendation right now on this meeting, but I can allow it to move forward administratively straight to the board at a very next meeting with the condition that our administrators were going to review this and make sure that at least somebody in the administration sees it before it hits the Board of Commissioners.
Yeah.
Do it this way?
Yes, Vice Chair. That is my intention, is to go through every inch of it, make sure we have what we need, and get it, as well as to concur with the Deputy County Administrator Perry to get
That
his
works for me.
approval on everything as well.
Okay, good.
Chair?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you, all right, Madam Chair, I'm sorry. We were just talking as if you were not here. I'm sorry.
And I've been listening and saying, okay.
All right, so
Maybe.
you're okay with where we're going?
Yes.
So, Director Roberts, you've got administrative concurrence. There's been no objections to you moving straight to the Board of Commissioners with the condition that you will have sign off by our administrators, and we'll see that topic first meeting of the year. All right.
Okay.
All right. Anything else on this you want to share?
Not on this one.
Okay, let's keep going.
Okay. Well, we had we made some changes to the service due to COVID, and obviously that impacted every transit agency across the country, across the world. But one of the things that the FTA reviewers caught was that when you make service changes that impact 25% of the system, you need to have a public hearing. And so, and this is housekeeping. In order for us to get right with the triennial, we need to go out and post for a public hearing. This would be something that, just like kind of like we do with when we made changes to the ordinance, planning and zoning, we just need to ask permission of the board first week of January to hold a public hearing, advertise for said public hearing, and then have the public hearing. Now, the service that was changed was it went to the Saturday service, which was 7 to 8. And it's our staff's recommendation that we keep that service for the time being, especially since we're on the verge of engaging firms to help us with the transit master plan. So that would be, our recommendation would be to ask permission of the Board of Commissioners to have a public hearing and get public comments on the service changes that were previously done, but which we seek now to continue.
All right, so it's a retro. All right, I get it. We got to check the box. Got it. So we're just going to maintain what we did under an emergency situation, which is altering the schedule to a Saturday. It's being recommended that now that we're out of emergency, Madam Chair, now that we're out of that authority, we should revert back. But staff is recommending that we keep it. So is there anything else that you're wanting to change? So if you have a public hearing, don't nickel and dime budgets, millage rate, don't nickel and dime public hearings, we want to talk to citizens. Is there anything else in this matter you need to talk to them about that came out of this that we need to do a hearing?
No, sir, this was just something that wasn't done back in 2020.
I said, but to my point, is there anything else that may require a public hearing that may be advantageous to take advantage of this moment? That's all I'm asking.
I can't think of anything, but when we announce for the public hearing, I don't know if the public wants to come forward with something else that I don't yet foresee. But right now, this is the path that we need to go in order to provide this information back to FTA.
I understand. I understand, but it's always about timing. It's
Yeah.
Be sensitive to the public's time, our time, everybody's time. Is that if you're going to have a hearing, you can have multiple things while you have citizens out. That's all. And so it's just the timing of it. All right. Anybody else? Any committee members want to weigh in on this topic? So we're going to pass a resolution to send this to the full board to call for a public hearing. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
All right. Director Roberts, go ahead and make your motion then. What would you like?
Oh, I have one more item. We maybe take them all three, or it's your choice.
This is a separate item. I want to give this on independence.
Okay. I make a motion that we take to the board the work session on was January the 4th to ask the Board of Commissioners for a public hearing on the service changes to Connect Douglas.
Second.
To advertise and hold. And I mean that by saying advertise and hold.
Advertise and hold a public hearing, yes, sir.
All right. With that amendment, Madam AC, you okay with that small, slight amendment to advertise?
Yes, Vice Chair, I am. Thank you.
All right. We got a motion. We got a second. Anybody?
Second.
All right. Thank you, Roger. We got a second. Any further discussion? All right. Again, because this is a formal request, we'll go down the room with official affirmation of yes or no. Kelly Robinson votes yes.
Ramona Jackson Jones, yes.
Frederick Perry, yes.
Tiffany Stir Stanley, yes.
Miguel, yes. Sorry.
All right, 2 yes. We got both of yours. Ron, did you vote for yours?
Yes.
All right, gotcha. All right, you got a unanimous passage. All right, that goes straight to the Board of Commissioners to authorize the advertisement and holding of the public hearing for this matter. All right, Ron, keep going. Last one.
Last one is the DBE plan update. This is an item that Janet has taken on to update for us. Done a really good job. It was an existing document that just needed to be updated, and largely due to just personnel changes, Vice Chair.
Mm-hmm.
But we have also, so I'm gonna leave it that. That's what the plan is. It's just an update to the plan. But there's also an outreach component. Let me see if I can get this up here real quick. For the DBE plan, let me see, I think I'm still sharing, so you can see that we're required to go out to disadvantaged businesses every 18 months, I believe it is, and do an outreach effort. We had sent over an email to your legislative aide today to see if that could be something we could possibly work on when you do your doing business in Douglas County initiative. Maybe, add a strong DB component to that if you would like, or I can work with David Good on outreach with Danielle, who's also on the phone. But for today, the DBE plan just needs to be updated. We would take that through to be updated the first meeting in January as well, just like the PTASP.
Very good. And again, on this DB, or maybe Janet's there, this document, do you need input from other stakeholders like our procurement officer? And yes, to your point, to acknowledge it, yes, work with David Good on that. And I have no problem with you participating. David, make a slot for him to be there. It's related. But yeah, is there, so Director, is there something, again, we should be doing in the meantime between now and then?
No, we actually got
or getting other people's input between now and then. Is it that you wait till we get there, or Do you need input? I mean, when you say a DBE plan, what are the requirements to create a DBE plan? Maybe y'all can help me with that. What does that mean to us?
It's a look at the goals of our targets and things, and also our outreach efforts, documentation of how we pursue DBEs. Worked with David a lot because this year, as you know, we've had a lot of projects. Last year, this department didn't have a lot of projects. But we've had a lot of projects this year and done some outreach and documenting that. And this is a formalization of what that process is supposed to look like and what we're supposed to do and what the FTA wants to see us doing.
Gotcha. So they're prescribing how they want this done. All right. So this is federal. Got it. So it's in this document here on the screen. This is what you're talking about.
No, I don't have it pulled up.
Can we get a copy?
There's a couple edits to be made. We're working on the org chart changes and staff changes because honestly, that was the big finding for us was just updating it for staff because we had a pretty good DBE plan and have had one for a long time.
What does this DBE plan do to the feds?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
When does this DBE plan do?
We feel like we can turn around and get it to them by the 16th. If it goes before the board, the first BOC meeting in January, should be fine.
Yeah, I think it's something that to the administrators, guys, let's make sure we get Tanya engaged as an insider. David, please weigh in accordingly. But we want to make sure that all of our DBA efforts are aligned.
Mm-hmm.
All on the same page regarding it. So can y'all ensure that it's aligned? Have her weigh in as well, just so that we're consistent. And again, we know the feds will trump on things. So if there's something that we learn out of that process to even enhance our current DBE, Madam Chair, that's currently on the books, we want to make sure that we comport with that. So
we can do that, Vice Chair. I'll reach out to Director Ammons and make sure that she's plugged into this.
Okay. Madam Chair, are you okay with that approach? I'm sensitive to the executive administration. Are you okay with this? You keep losing her, y'all?
Nah, she's on
I
mute.
think she's there.
She is muted.
Yeah, I can see her, Commissioner Robinson. She's on mute right now.
Is she nodding yes? She okay? I'm
nodding yes.
Okay, we're good, Madam Chair. No problem. I know you're multitasking. All right, but you're okay with this. All right, she's good, guys.
Yes, sir, I'm okay with it.
All right. Oh, thank you, Madam Chair. All right, so Director Roberts, are you okay? When you get to a point, again, give us an easy reading over the holidays. Can you send at least that to me as chair so I can read the draft? I know you're going to amend it. That's fine. I just want to get as much of me as I can, please.
Oh, absolutely. And listen, I really appreciate y'all's time today and helping us work through these concerns and getting them through. It's I think we're on the right track. Staff has been very, very attentive to this and being responsive. And I look forward to getting Tiffany updated further and getting this over to y'all as soon as possible. Probably middle of next week, actually, right before Christmas. So you have something to read to the kids for Christmas Eve.
That's right. Turn on my little reader. All right. All right. Anything else on this one? I want to be sensitive to time because we got some other topics. You okay, Director Roberts? Anything else in your section?
No, we're good.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Deputy Director Rana, it's back to you.
All right. Thank you, Director Roberts. So the next item is Public Works update. We did not receive any requests for any agenda items from Public Works. Heath, if you're there, do you have anything to add?
I do. Thank you. I've got just an update to let everyone know how we're doing. The resurfacing project has been halted due to weather, so we didn't get anything done last week or this week. We are sitting at 75%. And then I know your question, Vice Chair, is are we going to finish this year? And the answer is no, due to the weather. But as soon as we can crank, we've got 25% left, and we will jump on it as soon as the weather lets us. That's the only thing we can't really plan for, sir.
Understood.
We've got the cold weather coming in. We've got possible snowstorm, ice coming as well. So we've got Levon's crews already, leaning forward. They've got the salt spreaders ready and that kind of thing. They're putting them, getting everything just prepped in case we do hit, we do get hit with some ice or some snow next week.
Oh, not this week, not tomorrow morning.
Correct.
All right.
We're ready for that too. We're ready as of now. But I think next week is
I'm
the
hitting the Madam
serious.
Chair like, okay now.
I was like, okay.
Gotcha. No, you're fine. You're fine, Director Cowell. So let me ask you, all right, you finished with that topic? Because I have one for you.
Yes, sir.
All right, so Madam Chair, and this to the full committee, and again, not to take it off of task, but we will have to have a conversation regarding SPLOST and specifically transportation. However, the fleet is a building which could be in our fourth bucket, which obviously was that, facilities. Where do we stand on the need? Is there still a need? For the public who viewing this, we had a fire at our old fleet public works building, and now it's in a place right now where we have interim or temporal housing for our staff, but it's not acceptable. It's not a good working condition. It's something that we've allowed to go too long, only because of the fact we don't have enough money, enough to finish the full build. So let me just get right at this, because again, we got to begin to set our priorities, and I appreciate your leadership on this, Miguel, to weigh in as well. Do we build a new building for our public works group, or do we retrofit what we currently have? And I'm not taking it either way. I don't have a position, but I need to get it on the list and get it in the atmosphere. Please weigh in.
I'm glad you said you brought that up, sir. I was going to bring it up. I think what we do, we don't know if we can currently which option is there or both options are there. So to get started in the right foot, we need to have an inspection of a structural engineer. We don't have one of those on staff. I think. Yeah, we don't that I know of. Maybe there's another one. Maybe good. Do you have structural engineers in that your firm? Because that might be a possibility. But anyway, that starts the process. In my mind, we got to do this first to see what we can do. Then we can go forward. So either if possible, that structure to me looks like it's still able to be, retrofitted into like a barn type area just to keep equipment out of the elements, and it's there. So I would hate to see us tear it down when it's half of what we need right now. So we could finish addressing any structural issues, that kind of thing, and use it for that and rebuild on top of the hill, or, maybe we rebuild right there in one place. Those are options for later, but I think first we need to know which way can we go.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I guess there's two parts. There's I'm coming again as these committees. I try to line up things that I will advocate for when I hit the floor. Not your day to day. I'm listening to you like, okay, I got to appropriate what $4-5 million. You gonna figure out which way you gonna go.
Yes, sir.
But you gonna build it, or whether you gonna retrofit it. So we got to work together. If we coexist. So I'm listening to you. I got it. But I have windows in time in which I have to make decisions and have to get my peers to move. So I'm trying to be sensitive, say, no, I got you, but we got to have a conversation, because we at a time of decisioning that as we shape these lists, I put you in that list or out that list. Are you going to be in the fund balance list or not be on the fund balance list? So I've got my own reason why I'm bringing this up. And again, it's not just about equipment. It's about your employees, our employees that are like, no, come on, guys. That was 3 years ago.
Exactly.
It was almost 4 years ago, before the COVID. And so I just, regardless of why we're here, again, get control of that. We need to do something about it. So I'm sure that should be high on the list, in my opinion. And as one, it's only so many things are going to get built out of that bucket anyway. But I think that should be a priority, seeing it was something that we were supposed to be. So it's not a new add to the list. Because if you let this thing get away from us and put other things as a higher priority, they're going to be sitting there for a long time in work conditions that we can do better than that. But I want to hear everybody else weigh in. Miguel, you got some thoughts?
Yes, Commissioner.
I'm sure gets the last word, but go ahead, Miguel, weigh in. I want to hear your thoughts on this.
Yes, initially we did take a look at the feasibility of retrofitting or utilizing the existing structure. And we had an architect take a look at it, and they developed conceptual rehab plan. And so they themselves also looked at the structure and determined that, save for a couple of beams on one side of the building, the rest of the structure was fairly solid. So building in place with the existing footprint definitely is doable, and it would be a less expensive option than building new. So that is definitely a possibility. Initially, they were looking at an estimate of, if memory serves me, about 3.7 million. So by now we're looking at a little over 4 million to do that. But nonetheless, based on the location of the structure relative to the rest of the site, it was felt that utilizing the footprint and building up from there, getting some offices in was the thing to do. And so there are some preliminary conceptual sketches that were done related to that can be further enhanced and pursued if that's the option that's preferred.
I would love to have a copy of those.
Yeah.
Make sure you pass on that institutional knowledge before you go. Thank you, Miguel, for that. Deputy Perry.
Yes.
Sir.
Thank you, Vice Chair. And Miguel, yeah, I both myself and Heath, and as well as Justine, she's had a keen interest in that as well. Would love to look at those preliminary plans. I'm glad to hear that that what you mentioned was actually done. That's been a question of ours, is that we didn't know if a structural engineer had actually been there to perform that. We were checking with Matt, and we just never received that information. So good to hear that it's out there. Glad to hear that this is a conversation. We would definitely want to move forward with salvaging that property. It's actually a huge lot. What is that? He's about eight acres or so.
I think it's 12.
12? Yeah, so we have a lot of property there that is going unused right now for the most part. So it would be definitely advantageous for the DOT staff as well as for Public Works as a whole to move forward with this. So thanks, Miguel. And if you would, share those plans with us.
Sure.
Let me make sure I name this right. So I probably been saying it wrong by saying Fleet Building. Is it a Public Works building? Is it Fleet Chicago? Guys, give me a project name that we all know what it stands for.
Public Works Building.
Public Works Rebuild.
Yes.
David, Public Works Rebuild. Please capture that for us, David. Good. Public Works Rebuild. All right, Madam Chair, are you okay with this conversation? We're just putting it on the list. We're not committing to anything. We're just acknowledging the importance. You got any thoughts?
Oh, nothing. We've been waiting a long time, so it's time to move forward. So we need to, in my opinion, top the list. Yes. Good things come to those who wait, and they have waited. So yeah, I would love to see this building refurbished or re-enhanced. It sounds like it could be built sooner than later because the structure is already the beams are up, the structure is there. So all we have to do is just kind of move forward. But what I would not like to see is the same structure. You know what I'm saying? The same building. We don't want to build the same old building. At least modify it, enhance it more, make it more modern in comparison to what we had before. So let's think outside the box when we do build it.
All right, thank you. She brings up a good point. Real quick, guys. What was the square footage of the current building? And how many bays was it? And what can it go to? Madam Chair's point. So what's our current baseline? What do you remember what it was, Miguel? how many square feet that building was?
I do not, Commissioner, but one of the, but I do remember the conversation with Madam Chair about making it look like a different type of building as opposed to what was there.
Yep.
Mhm.
The initial thinking from the analysis by the architect was that the main structure could be rehabbed and perhaps that would have a different look, a different facade. However, for purposes of storage of equipment and keeping it out of the weather and what have you, then the rest of it, part of what is now almost like a hangar, that could be more industrial looking, but the rest of it could be enhanced. So what the original estimate was based essentially on replacing it without an enhancement.
Yep.
So with a different facade, we're probably looking about a $5 million tab, I would say.
Right. Doing that, I'm sure within those plans, you guys, that Miguel plans to share with you guys, take a look what the insurer said, what the structural engineer said. Take a look at all that data, and then come back to us with your path forward. And I'll do my part on our side. I'm sure, but make sure that we at least get it on our list for consideration when staff is ready to move forward. Is that okay?
Yes, and also if we just make sure it's more accommodating for the staff. I'm not sure if we're going to have additional staff moving into the building, so if the footprint needs to be larger, square footage, a break room, lockers, the whole 9 yards. If we're going to do it, let's do it right.
And those plans, Miguel, you say you have a copy of those?
Well, they weren't plans as such; they were sketches, schematics. I do have those.
Okay.
And they're not super detailed, but essentially they target specific uses within the footprint of the building. Yeah.
Okay. That would be fun. That'd be great to see.
And similar to the concept that we had planned for the triple wide trailer, you remember we said showers, male, female bathrooms. We just, modernize it and make it one that could be utilized not just today, but maybe 25 years from now. They still have some presence because our other building is rather old.
Right.
I don't want to say take it over the top, but you all know, make it nice.
Yes, ma'am.
For our employees, please.
Let me ask a question, and I get we got this asset that we own, but was there any consideration, again, I just don't remember, and I didn't put a lot of thoughts, maybe you guys have. It says, man, I got so much flex warehouse in my district and different, and it may not be, maybe more about location. I know there's probably some rationale to you guys where your position is to be able to get across the whole county reasonably. But I'm just saying that you're telling me there's no space, no existing building we can just get in and move in. I mean, again, you're right. You're talking about a hangar. We're talking about some office space. There's a lot of flex offices around here, industrial based flex office. And I'm just curious, as a third option, which okay, gosh, y'all, we can't accommodate or something that's already pre-existing that we can just move in and get out the elements. And I'm just saying, you have options. Consider that. Your speed is your speed. Your staff is your staff. I'm open. I think we're looking for guys come back with a solution. We either build from scratch, we retro, or you lease out something that's already in existence. Talk to us. Let us know.
Sure.
We can't solve it today, but I'm just saying,
Right.
These are options that the board always likes to see options. What did y'all consider? You can still have your I recommend this, but at least have the options. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yes, sir, it does. I've got one more update if you got time for it.
Yeah, please. Let's keep going. Guys.
So there's a paving job that we're going to start on next year. We're going through with James Worthington and Travis McDonald. It's one of their subdivisions, Stonehaven, at the end of Big A Road. Yep. So that money was called in, I believe, by James, and so we have that actual bond money landed in our account. And then today, as I'm trying to find the proper way to roll those funds over into January without them being disappeared, where I can get my hands on them when we need it. I ended up talking with Madam CFO, and she she kind of just said, hey, look, it wasn't supposed to go to your account. We'll put it back here, but we have to earmark it properly. So just letting you know, we've got plans to do the top course to finish paving Stonehaven, looking at spring time when the weather permits. It'll be something that the crew it'll be, their first full job, I guess, since started subbing everything out, subdivision wise, that we'll receive paving with our new paving equipment. And so looking forward to that, just making sure that money was already put in there. So now it'll go to the general fund, looking at 235,000. And then we'll have it earmarked. So when we're ready to start, that money we can pull from it. So that was the all long conversation that went back and forth today. I was just giving you a heads up on that, sir.
No problem. I know there's a push for using our assets and our resources currently that we have, and I look forward to sort of that being advanced.
Yes, sir.
We can do it ourselves, and so I've always had that. Like, well, I believe it. I just want to see
we'll
it.
show you.
Again, now, I get the spirit of it, but it's again, you need staff, you need commitment, and you need people who are dedicated to doing it right. So that's why you can always be you can get on a contractor easily, but it's our own, but it's our reputation. And so I trust that the quality is going to be there. You guys are going to do that right. So sounds like you don't need any help getting this money unstuck, right? You just telling me FYI. Do you need? I mean,
just FYI,
it's going to go away or?
No, the funds will be pulled from the account they're in now, put to the proper account, which I believe is general fund.
Yep.
But it's all documented so we can get it back. It's just going to be earmarked properly. That's all.
Yeah, but that's something, ma'am. Ivy, make sure you take a note of that. I bring up a policy on how we handle bonds from a financial. I'll bring it up during the meeting tonight. Thank you for that. Duly noted. But how do we handle those things in a formal sense? And I know James has done a wonderful job of helping us identify bonds from these developers that we let get away and so forth. So I'm glad to hear we caught this one. So. But I want to put a formal policy around that, or formalize it or strengthen the current one. All right. Anything else then?
Nope. That is all I got. Pending your questions.
All right. Any questions? I'm sure you're good. All right.
I'm good.
Yeah, that was just an update. All right. Good. Keep going over there. Good. Stonehaven, that they got getting their topped off in their subdivision. All right. Deputy Director Rana, back on you.
Thank you, Commissioner. If the committee allows, we may have to go back to transit updates for a brief presentation from Collaborative Firm. They could not connect earlier, but they're available now.
That's fine. We can reassess the agenda. No problem. Bring them forward before we move into our next item.
All right. I think you're on mute, Danielle.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you so much. We are here and joining, so I've been in contact with Ron just via text, and appreciate the time that you guys are allowing us. So before I even on one item.
We can't hear you. Hold on a minute. Your connection is sort of choppy.
Hello?
All right, that's better.
Okay, I'll speak up. I wanted to briefly touch on one topic before sharing my presentation, and that was with the DBE. So duly noted, Commissioner Robinson, in regards to the upcoming fiscal years. We worked very well with David Good and your legislative aides at the time for the 2020 virtual DBE. So in that same vein, we'll still continue with your directives, including working at the time, it was with GDOT and their outsourcing agent, CEI. So we have the opportunity to educate those who may not have had those NAICS codes and those SAMS codes at the time. And then, so some of those best practices with Janet, the compliance officer, shared those at the time. So there may be capable, wonderful people who can do great work, but getting them established as a DBE to be official to get those contracts under the Connect Douglas umbrella or the county umbrella. So David, I'll reach out to you as well. So thank you in advance.
Thank you for that. All right.
All right, I'm going to stop my video so it doesn't continue to be choppy just in case there are connection issues, and I'm going to share my screen. Please let me know if you can see this.
We can see it.
Fantastic.
We
So
can
I'll,
hear it.
thank you. What I will do first is briefly go through our 2022 summary. There are some wonderful results that we've accomplished over the year with our strategic plan in place. And I want to first briefly highlight those. So when Director Roberts came on board, we had some alignment meetings, and he stated some goals he had for Connect Douglas. And one of those was to reach about 30,000 in ridership post-pandemic within this year. And currently, ridership is outpacing previous years with one more month to go. So, you know, within marketing and analysis, we tend to do year over year. So 2021 versus 2022 already over 63% in ridership. And again, that's fixed route bus service. With that, we had 20 plus events and outreach initiatives. We've expanded the educational opportunities to include those travel training sessions post-COVID. And then we tapped in even more specifically to our senior student and senior ridership demographic. And what you see here is to date. So from January to November, it's been ridership has been outpacing 2021 almost about 90% from years, especially from months, June to November. So one caveat is we did have that free ridership from July to September 3rd of this year, but you can still see, even with that removed, 2022 is outpacing 2021 ridership numbers. Some things that impacted those ridership are the tactics. We just honed in on our marketing plan from early on in December 2022, January 2022, December 2021, and tapped into those opportunities, like I mentioned before, travel training sessions, strengthening those partnerships. So I personally want to thank Senior Services for all of their partnerships. We did about 3 or 4 dedicated events or supported events, and other organizations, nonprofits, churches. Also, thank you to Douglas County School System. They were very open and willing to not only support the opportunity for student ridership and reduce fare, etc., but open their doors, allowing Connect Douglas to come in to give travel training sessions and info sessions. One thing that went very well, and another thank you, is to Douglas County communications staff. They did a wonderful job of doing video testimonials in our Go Local campaigns, and those are still being utilized within social media and digital. And they outlined not only riders, drivers, but local business owners. Briefly, some photos, briefly things. And as I mentioned before, the target audience, students and adults, those 18 to 40 year age groups, and that secondary group, those seniors. And the reason why we tapped into those groups in particular, because they make up more than half of the current Douglas County demographic. So we wanted to basically tap into potential riders and the largest audience group within 2022. And by tapping into those targeted audiences, let's see here, the 15% of all ridership of 2022 were seniors. And this is to date. When I say January to November, I don't have December's numbers, obviously, just yet. And 4% were students. Now, mind you, seniors make up 15% of just about 15% of the total demographic. 12%. Seniors make up about 12% of the total demographic. And they made up 15% of ridership. So those target audiences, after speaking with them, engaging with them, listening to them, their comments, etc., and giving educational opportunities, they've been consistent within ridership. So taking those results and enhancing other SWOT analysis opportunities going into 2023, here's our 30,000 foot view approach. Of course, taking a deeper dive into what worked, what didn't, and other opportunities of the 2022 ridership growth and public awareness campaigns. We want to focus in on, of course, increasing ridership. We don't want, there's no need to relax on any laurels. The idea is to continue to keep people on the bus and utilize the opportunity for public resources within Douglas County, retain those existing riders, enhance transit service awareness. For example, there's a paratransit committee and the meeting is upcoming on Wednesday. So there are other services that are for the public, already available and open for the public to partake in, not just fixed route. Engage those mid to large size companies with almost the bus routes, and then strengthen those relationships with partner agencies. Because of some of the things that we did within the community, other interdepartmental agencies have reached out to us, such as Douglasville CSB and the judicial court system. And here is just a very, again, high level roadmap. Some other opportunities within 2023 are ESL, English as a Second Language group. Those who speak Spanish are about 8.7% of the total population of Douglas County. So that is an opportunity to continue to lean in towards, including continuing those those video testimonials. We did one in Spanish the past year, so including those opportunities for that ESL group. You do see some milestones, etc., across the board here, and we want to do what works, enhance what works, and then reach out into other opportunities. So ESL is one, still continuing the opportunities within our senior and students population, but also work on other transit awareness, including paratransit and those who may be mobility challenged, and working with Director Roberts and the staff for that paratransit advisory board and other opportunities. So I went very quickly, but with that, I'm very happy and very appreciative of everyone's support and additional enhancement results. Basically, just everything that everyone in the county has done to increase that ridership number up to 63%. And whether it's taking a pamphlet or brochure, telling a friend, or even going onto our social media pages and liking or sharing a post. So thank you to all those who have participated and supported Connect Douglas within 2022.
Thank you, Dave. Very good. You finished? I'm sorry. You good?
I am good and ready for any questions if needed.
No, thank you for that. And quick is good, but it's always about quality. And thank you for a quality presentation and it was succinct. So please don't worry about time because again, we're sensitive to everybody, but well done. Any thoughts? You got me, Ron, Director Roberts, Madam ACA, you guys, any thoughts on this? I know we had to get through this year and obviously crank back up. I heard the results. I heard, again, it's just awareness. Two things. People need to know awareness and is the system going to be consistent? Awareness and consistency, which leads me to my question is, and for all who are listening, is are the buses on time? Are they consistent? I mean, at the end of the day, I need for it to be out there when I need to be out there and I got to go. Is it consistent? The whole premise behind a fixed route, like it is consistent no matter what. I could lose 3 Ubers and be pissed and be an hour late because I know that fixed route will be on time. Uber, they just cancel because they can. I don't want to drive no more. Like, I cannot believe they just canceled me. All right, so while I hear the narrative about dollar ride, there's a drawback to that. That you're not in as much control as you think that you can demand, but the fixed route is still, it's a standard. It's the base. And so you guys got any statistics on that? Do we keep up with measurements on it's probably Director Roberts. How do we evaluate our service provider? Because I get y'all getting the message out there, but I want to know more about our service provider and are we pleased and are they doing what we need them to do? We're getting people there, but what is now, Jared, the customer experience, the provider's experience? Do we know, guys? Data, not just narrative, data. Do we have any data?
I don't have any data. I know that I don't have it in front of me. I know that there were some surveys that Transitions did a while back. I need to go back and pull it and see. I think a lot of that was on employee and driver retention. I don't know. I know that I've had discussions with the entities that are coming online about just that very thing. Because if you think about the NTD, the National Transit Data, this is stuff that's been reported on for over 50 years. It hadn't changed a bit. Right. But we do need to look at things like that, like the experience of the riders and things like that. And how do you quantify? How do you quantify that? And that's something that was actually in the our proposal that was submitted was to come up with some metrics that actually would quantify just the type question you asked. So right now I don't have anything.
And that's okay. You bring up a good point. It's okay. You're good, but I'm bringing up my point. Guys, how we going? We pay 2 million, 6 million, and we ain't got no data. And we don't know how they're performing. We got the feel good story. I get it, but to Director Rob, like, you know how long they've been on time of buses for 50 years since in my lifetime they've been tracking this. And again, we have to like put the standard. I appreciate their associate satisfaction, their internal, like our employees, and they're thinking about themselves. They think about their employees. That service, what you just said, they think about themselves, but that ain't giving us what we need to know how well they're performing. And I think we're the ones like, okay, have to measure that, and what does that need to be? But this is something that is pre-existing. Go to MARTA, go to Cobb Lane. Guys, how do we track this? Go to some of these northern cities with more advanced. There's got to be a way to, this is basic stuff that we talk about, again, key performance indicators. And I know you're brand new, Ron. I know you got to get up to your key performance indicator, but it's the system. Is it on time? Then you hear about the airlines. Your flight get canceled. Is it on time? On time, on time. How far are you off? And we've got to get our minds around, be able to evaluate, sometimes they're like, I don't think it's a fear, but it's a mindset like, gosh, we have to correct it. They may have to fix it. But how do we hold them accountable? Like I'm held accountable. So should we be holding our vendors accountable? Think about it. Performance. Madam Chair, I need you to weigh in on this. Does it fit with your KPIs and how you see the world and the importance of evaluating such a large dollar amount? How well are we doing? It feels good. We're getting the message. People are riding, but is it on time? Is it doing what it's supposed to be doing? Is it doing what we told them to do? The base service. Are you on time?
Right, I do agree that we do need some quantitative measures, but I know also we've had those qualitative measures with our customer surveys and things of that sort. But that data would help from the quantitative perspective, and I know we've heard you, and we're going to make sure that happens going forward. It's just a matter of is there any type of, I can ask our Transportation Director, Ron Roberts, is there any type of software out there that would allow us to track that timing rather than us trying to keep it on the manual? Generate this information on a manual basis. Is there some software that you're aware of, or if you just benchmark to see if there's something out there?
No, we have the software that tracks the on-time performance and things like that. I was confused because the direction that the vice chair was going, it seemed like it was more like I thought he was asking about the quality of the experience of the ridership, but of the riders. But there's definitely, we have the Passio Go software that tracks their on-time performance and things like that, and that is available.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. Well,
that'd
be nice to know to be shared, Jan. Whoever just spotted him, well done. You guys did good. No, we need that data, guys.
Yeah,
we need to know that. That's something that y'all can easily just provide. You're right. You've been tracking it. I'm sitting here thinking, well, don't y'all got that satellite on them?
Yeah, I thought. Okay, I just
Okay.
had one question for Danielle. Danielle, thank you for your report. It was very good. It's a proud moment. Certainly, we have shown that we are resilient with this system, although it did take some heat with this fixed route bus route here in Douglas County. But you have just pressed through and collected data and followed the customer service review forms and everything of that sort. I was going to ask, and this is just a little side note, it's Christmas holidays. I know some of the buses may be filled. Do we have a system within that could play Christmas music or holiday music while the passengers are riding? I'm just wondering.
So we do have the opportunity for visuals. So that's a wonderful question. I know in years past, previous, just like we handed out or had the opportunity to hand out masks in more warm and fuzzy moments, we handed out candy canes and other things. So I can get with Director Roberts. There is at least a digital signage that has an opportunity to even something as simple as say Happy Holidays.
Yeah.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, just be more 'tis the season opportunities. Am I hearing that correctly?
Yes.
Okay, I can get with Director Roberts about that to have more festive opportunities on the buses themselves.
Yeah.
And I think that's an easy.
I'm not unopposed to singing. I have a Christmas time today. So,
Okay. Yeah, just see
I'm
if we
not
can
a good
just.
singer.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Sure.
I yield back to you, Vice Chair.
All right.
Chairman of the committee.
Anybody else want to weigh in? All right. If no other comments. Thank you, Danielle, for your presentation. Again, job well done, and we'll see you next time. All right, Deputy Director Rana, keep us going, keep us moving. Back on you.
Yes, sir. So the next item on the agenda is an update on New Manchester High School sidewalk. This is the sidewalk on State Route 92. The project is a 3/4 mile sidewalk along State Route 92 leading up to the New Manchester High School. This project is currently in right-of-way acquisition phase, and we have received 3 options out of the 6 parcels that we're trying to do acquisition on. These 3 options will be presented at the next BOC meeting for approval.
Any thoughts, questions?
It's okay.
Miguel, I did not know this thing was 3/4 of a mile. And we're just in right away, but we do have sufficient funding to complete the project. It's just not right away. It's just not, we're going to finish this. Yes, no?
Yes, Commissioner, initially it was not quite that long, but when we added the connection to the park, it lengthened it a little bit. The budget for the project stands at 1.5 million, and we believe, based on the design and the estimates, that we should be able to do it for that amount.
And have we already bid these out?
No, we're in a right-of-way acquisition.
Are you still early? So, all right, I'm sorry, let me do it this way. So how far out are we? Is this a 2023 deliverable?
Potentially, yes.
But at this speed, it may be 2024?
If we can get the right-of-way acquisition completed during the winter months and advertise in the first quarter, then it should be a 9-month project. So we should be able to complete it by the end of 23.
You guys should learn that from Maxwell, man. It takes just as long. It seems like to delay a sidewalk than it is to resurface. It just seems like it just takes a long time, but I get it. And these are 5 foot wide, 7 foot wide. How wide are our sidewalks? What's the standard?
These are 5 foot wide sidewalks. That's the minimum for ADA. If we can get them wider, we might be able to do that in some places. But to your prior comment, Commissioner, this is not just the sidewalk project. It also has a pedestrian signal as a component of the project, and we need a permit from GDOT to be able to install that, and that has been the drag on the project.
I got you, right. That's right. This is, I'm sure this is that safe passage between obviously community, schools, and parks. So it makes sense. And we're thoughtful for it. And I get it. And that's why we weighed in, and there's a light now been added to the project and sidewalks on the other side of the street. Like, since we're in there, let's finish it, make it, intentional and holistic. So I get it. I just wanted to duly note on the update. It's in process. Any comments on this topic, Madam Chair? You mentioned, obviously this is important, working with the schools, again, children, when they come off that campus, there's a transition moment. We're saying we can get you across the street safely. Obviously, not have you in mud along the sidewalks going to the park while you're with, after school program. So it makes sense that we bridge this gap and obviously invest in this area. But any thoughts, Madam Chair? You okay with that? It was just an update, no decision.
Yeah, I'm very pleased with the update on this. I know, again, it's been a long wait, but sounds like we're making some progress as we address the safety along there. And I must say, along that Boundary Waters, it's very festive along that way. I encourage our citizens, if they want to gain a sense of Christmas spirit, right along that Boundary Waters area, the park and the whole 9 yards, which is very adjacent to the schools. It's beautiful down that way. Mm-hmm. So whoever, I know this is a moment for me to give a nugget to our Parks and Recreation team, but they did an awesome job.
Very good. They got music going through there as well, Madam Chair?
I don't think so. Just like beautiful.
I'm hinting.
Hinting is gorgeous.
All right. Very good.
Yeah, thank you. I was going to, Miguel, I had one question for you. Did GDOT give you a completion date? It's been a while. That project has been 5 years in the making. How we have a completion date by now? Date of completion?
For which project, Madam Chair?
The sidewalk project along Boundary Waters.
Well, this is...
New Manchester, I'm sorry. Right in that area.
Yes. This project is being handled by the county, and so we're getting the right-of-way acquired now. And then we should, if everything goes well, we should be able to get it completed by the end of next year.
Okay. Remember, Chairman of the Committee, I thought sidewalks would be
a quick win.
A quick win, our pathway to quick. I didn't realize sidewalks were so complicated. I learned something new, Director Valentin, that the sidewalks have to require precision, excellence, all kinds of things. I didn't realize so much detail went into sidewalks, but I did learn. I have learned.
Yes, Madam Chair. And this particular project, in addition to the drainage associated with the sidewalk construction and all those things, it also has that signal that requires a permit from GDOT, and that is added time to the timeline.
Okay. It was just a learning curve for me regarding sidewalks. Again, I thought it would be a quick win, but I understand. You have drainage. WSA is probably involved as well with your sidewalks when they go down. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Wow. Okay. Thank you. I yield back to you, Chairman of the Committee.
No problem. Deputy Director.
Mr. Vice Chair?
Yeah.
Mr. Good has his
hand raised. Yeah, he's fine. Go ahead, David.
Well, Commissioner, I just wanted to remind the citizens that this is one of the original SPLOST projects for sidewalks, especially next to the school. And then during the reforecasting right after, it was suggested for it to go all the way down to Boundary Waters, so that there'll be a good connection for both the citizens that live near there as well as the school children that come out of that location. So I just want to remind the public and thank the commissioners for their foresight and making sure they connect both of those locations.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, you got obviously Anawiki, one of the largest subdivisions in my district that's a feeder to that area. I mean, then you got the school up the street and you got the park in between the two. And so duly noted, thank you for that, for clarifying that point. All right, let's keep going, guys, because we can't go too long. Come on, let's keep moving. Deputy Director, please go.
So the next item was meant to be a discussion, but it's going to be an announcement at this point. The Lee Road Phase 2 groundbreaking was rescheduled to December 13th, which is tomorrow. Well, December 14th. December 14th, tomorrow at 10 a.m. It was rescheduled due to weather. We're still anticipating some rain tomorrow, but we have a tent placed there, so we should be good, and that should be convenient for us as we as this committee heads there tomorrow for the groundbreaking. This will be located at the southeast corner of Lee Road and Old Chestnut Log Road intersection. There's an SEI site container that should indicate the spot for the groundbreaking, and the tent is where everybody will gather.
Okay, so where is this at? Oh, okay, so Chestnut Log. Is it by the light? No, that's West County line. So I am going further south.
I'll pull it up on Google Earth and share the screen.
Am I closest to I-20 or Fairburn?
Fairburn, closer to Fairburn.
All right, got it. I know where we're at. Okay.
Okay, great.
So there's an ingress of space for us to be able to do this. Y'all got traffic cops out there. We ain't gonna get hit, are we? Y'all got tarps. We don't get no mud on Madam Chair's shoes. We're gonna be good, right? No rain.
Yes.
Tent. Okay.
We have requested some deputy sheriffs. Rick Martin from communications is coordinating that, and then we'll be actually away from the center line onto a side road. So
yeah, I
I
just
think
want
we're
to
in a
make
very
sure.
safe position.
Yeah, because it's raining. It's just because.
Yes.
All right. Very good. Duly noted on that. Tomorrow, Madam Chair, you gonna be there tomorrow at 10 o'clock?
Yes, sir, I'll be there,
All right. Very good.
rain or shine.
All right. All right. Keep going, Deputy Director.
All right, so the next item is SPLOST discussion and the consulting services proposals for the SPLOST projects, and I'll hand it over to Director Valentine for that.
Yes, thank you. We had an original list for 2016 SPLOST. Obviously, we were not able to get all of the projects addressed due to funding and other considerations, and there were 6 projects in particular that were on the list that during the 2021 reforecast, they were allocated enough funding, well, not enough, but $200,000 a piece to begin the conceptual development work. Now, some of the intersections, some of the projects are intersection, additional lane, turn lanes added, things like that. And those can be handled potentially. The full design might be able to be done within the 200,000. Others are going to take a little more than that. And I have reached out to the consulting on-call consultants firms and obtained 4 proposals to begin that work. Now, all of the projects I requested proposals for. Some of the firms, as we rotate through the list, when we approach them, they're either busy or for whatever other reason they may decline that particular project, or they may prefer a different scope on the project. So over time, we will have all of them ready to be started in early in 2023. But right now, I will share my screen, and we do have 4 proposals for consideration by the committee. And okay, can you see my PowerPoint presentation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Thanks. All right. Okay, well, the first project is the intersection of Chapel Hill at State Route 166. And that intersection project requires turn lanes added on Chapel Hill. It is just 2 lanes there, one each way on Chapel Hill at 166. And obviously, whenever there's somebody wanting to turn left versus traffic wanting to turn right, they're just having to queue back waiting. So to take a look at that intersection, do the analysis and do the design, we received a proposal from KCI one of the on-call firms, for $187,540.14. This particular intersection, it's one of the simpler ones, so we'd be able to do the full design on that for this amount, barring any unforeseen developments during the analysis. But we are ready for consideration on this one. Now, I do have four of them. If you would prefer for me to go through all four and then double back on each one, so we have sort of the universe and then focus on each one, if that's
fine. Keep
okay.
going.
All right, so the second one is Highway 5 and Berea Road. That is a skewed intersection presently, a pretty difficult maneuver depending on which way you're traveling. So if you're making a left-hand turn going northbound on Highway 5, it becomes more difficult to make that turn. So it's going to probably require some realignment of the intersection, a little bit more work required. This design proposal came in from RS&H Incorporated, one of the other on-call consultants, at $292,985.59. Now, this will also be an entire full design for the intersection, barring any unforeseen circumstances during the initial analysis. That is above what we have earmarked for that particular project. We have 200,000 allocated presently. Next location is Post Road and I-20 interchange. That is another location where the off-ramps, there's a need for additional lanes, turn lanes to facilitate traffic movement. Some of the turn radii are not as wide as would be needed for the truck traffic, particularly westbound I-20 to northbound Post. That needs to be widened somewhat, and there are some drainage issues that need to be addressed there as well. We've received a design proposal from Pond and Company for $197,067.22, and that is also for a full design, barring any unforeseen developments. Now, and they will run traffic analysis initially. Once they do that, if there is a need for additional signalization or additional widening, then there is potentially additional fees that would be involved. But at this time, we should be able to manage within the $200,000 allocation for that location. And the next item, this is not a full design, not a concept, full concept either, is a State Route 92 on Lake Monroe. This was one that was added during the reforecast, and essentially here what they're going to do is a traffic analysis, do a signal warrant analysis, and take a look at whether there would be a need for additional lanes, whether that would help the situation or not. So this is a much more reduced scope, just again, an initial traffic analysis and an initial concept. The fee proposal also by Pond and Company, $38,649.86, and this particular analysis, being that Pond and Company is the consulting firm that's working on the Lee Road extension, which is down the road a little bit. This information will be useful for development of that project. So they may already have some data on 92, and so it potentially would give us a savings in terms of what we would have paid otherwise to do that. So These are the four projects. Again, two of them are full designs within the allocated funds for the projects. This one is just an initial analysis, also within the $200,000 allocation. And then the one that came in a little higher at 293,000 essentially, is Highway 5 in Berea, and that's understandable, being that they would need to redesign a section of road on what is referred to as new alignment. So those are the ones for consideration. If it's the will of the committee to move them forward. Again, the rest of them we anticipate will be coming in early next year, and hopefully they will continue to come in within budget or close to. I'll stop there for any questions or comments.
Thank you, Director Valentin. So let me get this right. So those were four projects that we did allocate the $200,000 to at least advance us.
Correct.
Move it to the next step. Got it. That's as far as we can take it. But we did not do anything. We could have just left it on the list. But I appreciate your leadership that says, well, we can at least advance it to the next phase, the next cycle. It's a part of the next stage within the project cycle, life cycle. All right, I'm fine with that. Here's my question. What is the net difference, net? If I add all that up, let's say it was 800,000, can I do it all for 800,000? I know some is over, some is under. I'm just asking, because again, what's going to happen is that when you're proposing the 96 over or the 93 over, how are we going to pick that up? Where are you going to pull from that difference?
Yeah, let me run through them. So I got 13 there. I've got 17 there. And I've got 140, 150. Yes, we would be able to move, to advance all of them within the $800,000.
Yeah, I mean, all of them can't move equally, and I get it. The one that's directly in my district, the least amount, but I understand that. All I can do is advance it. But I think it's a good, good faith effort to advance all four, Madam Chair, within the money that's already allocated. And we've done this before. We set a precedent, which when we have over, we can take from others to move it over, and put the narrative to the side. We're trying to keep the system moving forward. This is the only money that we've got to work with. So I'm open to everybody else's position, but specifically, Madam Chair, I have no problem making it fit within reallocating this committee through a recommendation to the board that when we go to them with this proposal on these vendors that Miguel and his team has selected, that it'll all fit and we get it all done. We move everybody to the next phase.
Yes, I have no problem with either. I do have a question about the Post Road slide that you had together. If you could pull that back up just for a second. I just met with our incoming commissioner for District 4. Just had a lunch meeting with him, and we talked about Post Road and I-20 interchange improvements. I think this is great. We didn't get really in depth. We didn't speak in depth about this project. But is it coming off the ramps, or when you say the interchange improvements, or is it a light plan? Can you just give me a little idea what this means?
Yes, Madam Chair. This is really focusing on the ramps.
The ramps, yeah.
The connection from the ramps to Post Road. And it is strictly looking at facilitating that movement. Now, if there is the need for traffic signals and other things like that, based on the initial analysis, then we'd be looking at additional, different project. We would have to have additional design fees, but at this point, it's looking at the issue with there being not enough turn lanes to facilitate the movement in both directions. And there's also, in my discussions with the district commissioner as well, there's a drainage issue. Essentially, there's a heavier truck traffic movement northbound or from I-20 westbound to northbound Post. And they tend to ride the shoulder,
Yep.
get around traffic because they're, traffic's waiting to make a left turn and they're sort of blocking the lane. And so they ride the shoulder and they tear it up. And so that they're going to be looking at, does that really need to be a separate lane and reconstructed properly with the proper radii to address both the congestion or the turning movement issue, the safety consideration, but also to address the drainage so that we have a stable surface for the trucks to ride on properly.
Okay, thank you. Sharon. All right, well, that means it's already in play. Basically, it's the things that we just had conversation about. We talked about other things, but that just was, it came up during our conversations together. So, okay, so it's already, some movement is already being made.
That's correct.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. And you're back to your chairman of the committee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. No problem. So again, back to the full committee. We have a proposal that is before us with 4 options that we presented to the Board of Commissioners. In this, with this set of proposals, we're going to amend the amounts that's fixed here. So by the time it gets to the full Board of Commissioners, there has to be an acknowledgement that there was a recalibration, but it's within the scope and the amount that was allocated previously. So that being said, Miguel, you want to get a motion so we can go ahead and pass a resolution?
Yes, Commissioner, do we want to do them separately or all lumped together?
Separate, because we got to amend them differently.
Okay. All right. Yes, I make a motion that the committee recommend to the full board to award a design contract to KCI in the amount of $187,440.14 for the design of the Chapel Hill and State Route 166 intersection improvements.
Great. Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? And these proceeds are coming out of now we got to really be clear now when we say these things. It's coming out of the SPLOST 2016, correct?
Yes, let me amend the motion to be funded from the 2016 SPLOST funds allocated to this project during the reforecast.
Very good. So amended is the motion, is my motion and my second. Do y'all agree with that? Ron?
Yes.
All right. You guys are good. All right. He amended it. All right, great. Any further discussion? Again, I'm going to make just one comment. To that point, David Good, and really all of us, as we start on this new SPLOST, we got to be clear on what we're talking about, where the funding is coming from. We got to be even more explicit. Citizens don't follow as easy as we do. Trust me, they don't have our pretty PowerPoints and slides and colors and stuff. But as we talk, as we use our language, let's make sure we're more specific about the true funding source. It's a good problem to have, but I just want to make sure we don't slip up on that. All right, just want to make that administrative comment. All right, we got a motion second. All right. Is there, I'm going to go ahead and call the question again. We have to affirm verbally with our name because we are virtual. Kelly Robinson votes yes.
Ramona Jackson Jones, yes.
Frederick Perry, yes.
Ron Roberts, yes.
Heath Cowart, yes.
Tiffany Stewart Stanley, yes.
Miguel Valentin, yes.
All right. We got a unanimous vote for passage of that, to pass it on to the full Board of Commissioners. Next item.
Thank you. I make a motion that the committee recommend to the full board to award a design contract to RS&H Incorporated in the amount of $292,985.59 for design of intersection improvements at Highway 5 and Berea Road to be funded from 2016 SPLOST funds allocated to the project with recalibration from the also 2016 SLOSS Fund project at State Route 92 and Lake Monroe. That's my motion.
Hope somebody captured that. I'll just make sure they caught up. I know they're capturing your motion. All right, we have the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, we got a motion and a second. All right, any discussion? All right, we're gonna go in the room and again affirm a yes, a yay, yes, or no, nay, by your name. Kelly Robinson votes yes.
Ramona Jackson Jones, yes.
Frederick Perry, yes.
Tiffany Stewart Stanley, yes.
Miguel Valentin, yes.
Ron
Heath
Roberts.
Cowart, yes. Gotcha.
I heard Heath Coward. Who else?
Ron Roberts, yes.
Got it. That take us all the way around. Miguel, you weighed in?
Yes.
All right, then we have unanimous passage by the committee to pass this one forward as well. All right.
Thank you. On the next item, I make a motion that the committee recommend to the full board to award a design consulting contract to Pond and Company in the amount of $197,067.22 for the design of the Post Road and I-20 interchange improvements to be funded from the 2016 SPLOST funds allocated to this project during the reforecast.
All right. We have the motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
Do I have a second from the deputy? All right. Any discussion? No discussion. We're going to go straight to the question. All in favor say yes, or all who are not in favor say no. Through the announcement of your name, Kelly Robinson votes yes.
Ramona Jackson Jones, yes.
Frederick Perry, yes.
Tiffany Stewart Stanley, yes.
Miguel Valentin, yes.
Heath Cowart, yes.
Ron Roberts, yes.
All right. Got another unanimous passage by this committee to go to the full board of commissioners. All right.
Thank you. Next item, I make a motion that the committee recommend to the full board to award a consulting services contract to Pond and Company in the amount of $38,649.86 for the traffic analysis and concept development at State Route 92 and Lake Monroe intersection to be funded from 2016 SPLOST funds allocated to the project during the reforecast.
Second.
All right. We've got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right. Well, again, one more time to pronounce via your name, your position on this, yes or no. Kelly Robinson votes yes.
Ramona Jackson Jones, yes.
Frederick Perry, yes.
Tiffany Stewart Stanley, yes.
Miguel Valentin, yes.
Heath Cowart, yes.
Ron Roberts, yes.
All right. We've got unanimous passage of that motion as well. All right, Miguel.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's all that I had on those.
Okay. All right, Deputy Director Rana, back to you.
Thank you, Commissioner. The next item on the agenda is an interdepartmental effort that we've recently undertaken. It's labeled as detour communications. We have identified a few detours that are coming up in the next few months through DOT and WSA projects. While we do the signage and the physical letters to the locals to let them know about the upcoming detours, we've identified that there's potential for this information to be advertised on our website to add convenience for our locals and any commuters. That has been worked on, and going forward, we will be implementing that and showcasing that information on our website. We are also taking this effort a step further by investigating the feasibility of providing this information to navigation providers and identifying the feasibility of having the rerouting process take place automatically, so nobody has to run through a detour to identify it as a detour. The navigation system should just keep them away from it. So I just wanted to highlight that and wanted to let the committee members know that this will be coming up on the website.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And I was sitting here in my mind, yeah, GPS, if we upload to them. And, but, first let's get our roads updated, right? And then we can worry about detours. But duly noted, I've got my feelings about the GPS not being, recalibrated quick enough. But well done. Anybody want to comment on this? This is a good one. Well done. You guys are moving this forward. Again, detours are important. We do have to communicate. Let people know. I'm sure we are busy, and you're about to double up here in a minute. So we do need to make sure do you guys have capacity for the detour signs? Y'all got enough equipment for all this? Because you have to double up. Do y'all I know we got our own print shop and different things, but do y'all have enough? Did y'all budget for all this? My question. Miguel, help them out.
We should have sufficient stock to be able to do this.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. And just for the record, Madam Chair, you understand. Just want to make sure
Yes.
since we're in the budget month, like I do it right now. You better tell me. All right, fair enough. All right. Deputy Director Ron, keep going.
For the next item, I'll share my screen. Please allow me just a moment. Okay, so the next item is a street name change request. On the screen, you see Factory Shoals and Douglas Hill Boulevard and Bullard Road segments. The GIS department reached out to DOT to identify Douglas Hill and
You guys
Factory
need
Shoals.
details, please.
I think that's Madam Chair.
Madam Chair,
I'm sorry.
go ahead. I want to make sure I heard this. Go ahead. If you don't mind, just restate that, please.
Yes, no problem. So the GIS department reached out to the DOT and they requested us to identify the terminus of Douglas Hill Boulevard and Factory Shoals. Currently, the Douglas Hill segment ends right here at this red line and then starts the Factory Shoals Road. The Factory Shoals road name is pretty redundant in the picture that you have in front of you. You can see it at a parallel segment right here, and then it further continues on after Bullard Road, and then Factory Shoals actually comes off of Highway 6, and then it continues on all the way throughout this segment. So we did our research, and we've seen that Factory Shoals Road, Douglas Hill, and Jacob Roads are the three names that were used in the previous deeds and the previous records. Currently, the red lines are showing the existing terminus, but some of these parcels are still labeled as Douglas Hill Road, even with the Factory Shoals Road name on it. So therefore, we're requesting the board or this committee to request a street name change of this small segment of Factory Shoals Road here to Douglas Hill Boulevard. And if this committee approves that, we will be requesting this change at the next BOC meeting.
All right. I'll leave with courtesy. So this impact, is there anybody around there, old houses, churches, anything? Is there any community impact? First question, community impact with this name change?
So there will be an impact to just one parcel that's right here. Out of the three parcels that will be impacted, and that's about it.
Have we communicated with them?
We have not. If we get the approval to move forward with the name change, we can go ahead and start communicating with them.
Yeah, we have to communicate if there's going to be a material impact, take up consideration for something like this. And I just didn't know the magnitude, which is why I'm asking. All right, so I have no objections. I understand where we're going over there. I understand what the assets are being built over there. Is specifically we're over there with our new fire station. So duly noted. Madam Chair, any questions, thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I just agree with you. Just if we could just get to the members of the parcel, the family members or whoever. Is it a house, Suman?
No, it's just an empty lot.
Oh, okay, it's an empty lot. I thought it was a home. Okay. Well, sounds like it has minimal impact. Is that what you would think is by our chairman of the committee?
Yeah, I asked the question for the impact, but isn't there is still a process that we have to go through? Ron, Director Roberts in zoning.
Yeah.
Weigh in on this, please, sir.
Yeah, the only house that was there is in the is at that Factory Shoals. The whited out area is actually the as stated city of Douglasville. There are no homes really on here anymore. All these other houses, when you come down from Factory Shoals and you take that right on the Douglas Hill Road, there was one house on the right that's now been converted to they work on drainage ditches and stuff like that. So it's not even a house anymore. There's no homes left all along here. And then when you go down and hit the elbow on Factory Shoals and go that way, it's a bunch of dumping and stuff that I used to have Russell go out there and help site and clean up, but there's just nothing out there in the way of homes.
Is there a requirement by zoning or by any procedure by the county that we have to notify the public when we're making a name change, like we're changing all the names on veterans, and et cetera. So when we make a name change,
yeah,
again, I understand private road name change versus a public. This is public. What is the ordinance? What is the law?
That's a good question, because it's a gray area. Obviously, when it goes from when we did it all along veterans, we had to notify all those property owners, and that was something that Ed Dean and Russell and even the city had to go out and do. But I don't know. I'm not clear on what it is if there's no homes there anymore. So I'm not sure.
All right, here's my question. It's not just homeowners, it's just owners.
Yeah, landowners.
It's owners.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Miguel.
Yeah, I can weigh in on that. Yes, what we would need to do procedurally is have a public hearing to effect the name change. We would have to advertise it. So at the first meeting or at the next Board of Commissioners meeting, we would be asking for authorization to hold a public hearing for the proposed name change. And then once that is scheduled, then we would have to post signs and notify adjacent property owners, et cetera.
Which is what I was getting to, is the hearing. So got it. You know, I had no problem with the name change. As I was saying, I understand the business part of it. It just to your point, Miguel, thank you for the clarity. The procedural part, how do we get this done? So, Madam Chair, I have no objections, and if you follow your procedure, and we should be safe. So, if there's no further, I'm going to keep this going, guys, for the sake of time. Miguel, is there or Deputy Director, anything else you want to add to this? If not, we'll go straight into a motion to make a recommendation to the full Board of Commissioners to adopt the name change as recommended. Miguel, somebody make a motion?
Yeah, motion.
Yeah, I can propose a motion. Yeah, I make a motion that the committee recommend to the full board to set a public hearing for consideration of renaming portions of Factory Shoals Road and Douglas Hill Road.
Second.
I got the motion by Director Valentin, the second by Deputy County Administrator Perry. Any further discussion? All right, we're going to go straight into calling the question. Again, affirm or deny based upon your pronounced name. Kelly Robinson votes yes.
Ramona Jackson Jones, yes.
Frederick Perry, yes.
Tiffany Stewart Stanley, yes.
Miguel Valentin, yes.
Heath Cowart, yes.
Ron Roberts, yes.
All right. We got unanimous passage of this resolution sent straight to the Board of Commissioners for this renaming of this public street. All right. Anything else? Deputy Director Rhonda, back on you.
All right. So that was everything listed on our agenda. I would like to take this opportunity to announce that this is Director Valentin's last transportation meeting with us. His retirement party will be held tomorrow on the 3rd floor at 1 p.m. after the Lee Road groundbreaking ceremony. So I'd request everybody to join us. And I would like to thank him for his guidance and support and all he's done for the county.
All right. Well done. Thank you. I'm going to defer my real comments until tomorrow, but But duly noted, as chair, Miguel's been a great run. What a run. You know, this 5-6 years, man, it's been great. You're a man of your word. And again, all I asked you was give me 5 years, and it was your leadership. And you helped us all appreciate transportation. All of us learned from you. All of us did really well by your presence. So I want to thank you for that. For just if you just follow you, just like it is very technical, but you made it easy. You gave us confidence in what you were doing. You did right by us by way of a leader. You didn't use your knowledge for power in the sense of that we didn't understand because of the technical part of it. But we appreciate you because you guide us through it, and your fruit speaks for you. So our success was your success because you're the one that delivered 51% of that SPLOST, and the team and everybody else associated with them. This is just about Miguel right now, nothing against anybody else. But the part that you played in that, I want to thank you so much as it relates to this transportation committee. Thank you for your service. Appreciate you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. If I may,
Yeah.
there is one other item on the agenda that I would not want to skip over.
Uh-oh, did we forget something? Okay.
Yeah, and Suleiman, thank you for your kind words as well. But we do have an MOA for streetlights at 166 and Chapel Hill Road. That will be also coming to the board for approval.
Good. Is it tonight?
No, it'll be in January, next meeting.
No problem. What's the amount?
No, there is no amount. This is one of those agreements for the streetlights where we have to get a permit from GDOT, and so they require a memorandum of agreement with them. So there's no dollar amount on it, but it'll need Madam Chair's signature, so it'll come as an item to the board in January.
Right, it's procedural. I just say go straight, administrative concurrence, straight to the board. And you don't need us for that. Go to the board. Put it on the agenda.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right. Anything else need to come before the Madam Chair? You got to weigh in on that now. Wait a minute. Any comments, guys? Madam Chair gets the last word. Any other comments regarding this matter? Anything, guys?
No, I'm thinking instead of me giving Director Valentine a gift, he's just giving me one, but those lights alone at 166, that was one on my list that I really was so concerned about. So thank you for leaving good thought and good gesture regarding lights along the 166. But on a different note, I'm going to miss you dearly. You know that. You are the standard of excellence for an engineer. I've learned so much under your leadership in the role as our transportation director. I've learned to have patience with projects because I know it takes time because everything has to be precise. So I want to just thank you for your amazing contribution to Douglas County and our citizens. Thank you so much, Director Valentine. You have just made a world of difference. You have made us look good, and I'm telling you, you have just, you're it. You are in the Hall of Fame, in my opinion, for engineers. So thank you. Enjoy your I said vacation, but it's your retirement. It is a permanent vacation, but certainly I know you'll come out and play a little bit with us in the future. And hopefully you'll come back and have a little fun with us once you just take a breather and come back. But anyway, I thank you for every single thing from the top and bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I really appreciate it.
Yes.
All right, guys. Again, we've got more comments, accolades and applause for him, I'm sure, tonight, tomorrow. So we won't belabor it right now. That was just the appetizer. And let me be sensitive to this committee. I know we all got to shift gears here, get ready for the last dance tonight of the year. So if there's nothing else that needs to come before this transportation committee of the Douglas County Board of Commissioners as of December 13th, 2022, let this committee meeting stand adjourned. Thanks, guys.